Hi, this is Asgard, and today I would like to talk about something very trendy that's very famous nowadays, and it is ice baths or cold baths. And I would like to say first that we are not seals, okay? We are human beings. And I would like to make a statement about this. Say that they are not healthy at all. They do not promote health, and they do not in the long run promote alertness. Okay, it does not heal diseases or cure any pain in the long run. All right, now I would like to explain this from a scientific point of view. And I would like to start with the laws of thermodynamics, which actually will be enough to debunk the ice baths or cold baths or cold showers, whichever the version or modality that you choose or somebody chooses. The law 0 of thermodynamics says that when a body A equals body B and body B equals body C, then body A equals body C in temperature. And thus there is no heat flux, there is no transfer of energy nor heat, because they are all in equilibrium. Okay. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy is not created nor destroyed, it is simply transformed. All right, and this energy, the internal energy of a system, dances between work and heat. That's it. Okay, it will be conserved between these two. The second law of thermodynamics now gets a bit more in depth in this dance, and states that energy naturally will go from the hot body to the cold body, not the other way around. If you want energy to go from the cold body to the hot body, you need a machine, a man-made machine. It does not happen naturally, okay? It's simply how the cosmos works. This law also states that there is an inefficiency in the real world, and all the work can be indeed transferred 100% into heat, but heat can't be transferred completely into work. There is a heat loss in the process, and thus this brings to the concept of you need a bit more work of this. I mean, I'm simplifying the phenomenon, right? But it goes into the irreversible processes. Some processes, I mean, almost all of the processes are irreversible. They can't be taken to the origin again, okay? Now, this is important for later explanations. So, now comes the third law of thermodynamics, which is not very relevant for our point, but it states that there is such low energy in the universe that it can't be reached, and it is the 0-degree temperature. You can't reach that, because if you did, the universe would simply stop working. Okay? The universe would not universe anymore. Yeah. So these are the laws of thermodynamics. Now, here comes the interesting part and the key part of this speech. So, basing our discourse in the second law would mean that, of course, if I go to the desert, the hot body will give energy to the cold body. But remember, hot and cold are points of view, okay, relatively speaking. So the hot body in this case would be the desert, the Sahara Desert, for example, which is in the environment at a 50 degrees Celsius, for example, or more. And I am, when healthy, at 37 degrees Celsius. So, by the second law, if not applying a machine, everything spontaneous, everything natural, the desert will give me energy, will energize me. I am absorbing the energy of the environment. But take something into account. The environment is overwhelmingly huge compared to me. So to reach, according to the zero law, an equilibrium, it simply won't happen. I mean, it will happen, but I will not affect the environment, because the environment is a virtually infinite source of it will fix the temperature. I will not affect the environment, the surroundings in this case. So the desert is pumping energy into me. I am being energized and my temperature will raise after some minutes and hours, okay? And if not dealt with, I will simply be above a safety energy or temperature level and I will collapse simply. When I am above 43, 44 degrees Celsius, I will simply faint and my body functions will stop working properly, okay? The environment is energizing me. But now, let's take the plane, go to Greenland, which in 2026 we don't know if it's American or European. That's out of the question. So the environment now happens to be much colder than me. So the cold body is indeed the environment and I am the hot body. And again, because I am tiny and insignificant compared to the surroundings, to the ecosystem, I will give energy indefinitely. The environment acts as a sink of temperature. It goes away from me indefinitely until both bodies are in equilibrium, which means until I am at minus 20 degrees Celsius, which means dead, by the way. So I am giving energy to the environment. I am de-energizing myself. I'm losing energy and thus life. Okay? And now, this alone answers the question of the ice baths. But now let's make it particular to the water tubs or the ice or cold baths themselves, which imply water. 0 degree more or less Celsius water in temperature. Now, water transfers energy or heat 26 times faster than air. Do you know what will happen to a normal person like me when I stay in that water for 15 minutes? That I will die. Exactly. I will simply die. There are some records of people lasting up to an hour or more, even hours, but they are specially prepared for that. You know, they have a diet, they have a special protocol for doing that. Die as a normal person. If I jump into the water of the North Atlantic Sea, I will simply die in 15 minutes, because I am giving energy at 26 times the normal rate that I would on the ground to the water. I'm simply losing a lot of energy very fast, and thus I would simply die. Okay? Now, I know that there are some divers and some influencers nowadays that have become very famous. For example, Wim Hof. Wim Hof is a celebrity that has specialized or conditioned his body and mind for the extremely cold temperatures. But I will say something about this in a few moments. But now, before that, I would like to make clear thus that ice baths are incredibly unhealthy. They are taking life from you. And because they're doing it at 26 times the normal speed, it is a very fast process, and this indeed is an irreversible process, which means that you are losing life that you will not recover unless you do certain things. Okay? It's going away from you. You will never see that energy again. Okay? Which ultimately means that you are aging. You are aging very fast. Okay? So fast that you can't catch up with the recovery. And this is a well-known characteristic or feature of physics, that slow processes can assimilate to a reversible process, but fast ones are not. They are irreversible. An explosion can't be reversed. It simply booms and all the fragments and the energy is lost. But a controlled expansion can be reversed very much quasi to the original point. Now, this fast process of freezing your body is very detrimental for you and for us. Okay? Now, why do we feel energized after a bath? It is very, very simple to explain. Hormones. You are being overdosed with hormones. There is a hormonal rush in your body because your body is trying to save your life from an imminent or soon death. It wants you out of that situation, so it rushes adrenaline and some other hormones and chemicals to get you out of that danger. That is very important to understand. That is the mental clarity that you have. That is the energy that you have afterwards a cold bath. Understand that cold baths are so incredibly unhealthy that you can die indeed from a thermal shock. Okay, you can lose consciousness when you dive into ice freezing water, and you will simply cease to exist. I mean, this cold shock will be deadly. Okay? Now, because of this hormonal rush that's trying to save your life, is because you feel great or very good after it. But you will indeed be depleted of hormones. You are creating hormones very fast and very rapidly to get out of the ice bath or the cold bath. So these hormones, more and more people nowadays know it, but still few, come from fat. So fat, your body fat, is trying to do two things: heat up your body so that you don't die from a low temperature, and to create hormones, testosterone, human growth hormones, and so on. Testosterone especially, but they are created from fat, body fat, okay? And these are limited, and you are depleting them. So you are doing two very, very dangerous things, all right? When you get out of the bath, don't expect to be very manly by the end of the day, okay? Because you won't have hormones for your testosterone, just to make that clear. Now, Wim Hof. Wim Hof is a man who has for many years been adapted to cold, freezing temperatures, and he states that he has not gotten sick since decades ago. That is very interesting, and let me say why this is so. Because the body prioritizes surviving before detoxing. Wim Hof's body cannot detoxify, okay? That is why he looks old, he looks emaciated, and recently, well, his brain is not braining very well, okay? Your body, when it senses that it is in danger, it changes the priority from healing and detoxifying to surviving, to get out of that dangerous situation right now and right here, okay? So that is why Wim Hof claims that he is very healthy, claims that he has not gotten sick or has had a cold in years or decades. Do we understand that? That is very important to say. And yes, basically this is the whole explanation of cold baths or ice baths, okay? We have to see people when they come out of the baths, these freezing cold baths, when they are red, especially here on the chest and the stomach, everywhere in the body, right? Because the blood is rushing so intensely to the limbs and to the external surface of the body to heat it up, that it simply turns everything red. Okay, it's rushing, it's trying to save your very life. So yes, all this is why cold baths are actually very unhealthy. When you plunge into an ice bath, you are losing life, and without any return. Okay, don't expect that life to come back. You are pushing yourself closer to the grave. You are aging much faster. Okay, and yes, this is the essence. Okay, but now let's take all this knowledge that we have just learned to make it healthy. Do hot baths. Hot baths will indeed give you energy. They will energize you. To all these high elite sports people, to these new influencers or celebrities that do cold baths and so on, I recommend them to completely stop that and, for example, start your days with hot baths. Way more benefits in them. Okay, hot baths. Now we're not talking about the specific health benefits, which are actually melting the vegetable oils that have accumulated in our bodies for years or decades. We're talking about the thermal effect. Hot baths will energize your whole body, will energize your cells, and it will heat up parts that lack energy. And this will be done through direct contact, of course, but also the infrared light that the hot water emits will heal you. Okay, so there are boxers, well, many sports people, right, that do these cold baths. No, stop doing them right now. Never again. Start doing the hot baths. They will energize you and you will truly feel revitalized after them. Okay? That is the main advice. That was the whole explanation. I hope that this has served to many people out there who truly thought that ice baths were the way forward. Your body is aching and hating these cold baths. You can call them stoic, you can call them manly, you can call them, I don't know, disciplined, but you are wasting your energy and destroying your body fast rather than slow. Okay, so let's have all this knowledge clear, understand it from the base, and let's switch, for those who do it, from ice baths to hot baths. Thank you very much for watching.